wanted to talk about the pistol that I carry the most often for regular stuff. You know, there are certain occasions where I will carry a certain type of pistol other than this one, but this one is the one that I would carry the most often. It's the one I'm most comfortable with, and it's frankly a fantastic piece. And that is a Springfield XDS 9, and that's the 3.3. What that means is it is a Springfield XD in 9mm, and it has a 3.3 inch barrel. And this is the original, not the 2.0 that you'll see a lot with the heavy stippling. FYI, I did not know. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, but it says it right on the box. Not legal in California. No idea why this isn't legal in California. Bizarre to me. If anybody knows, please leave it in the comments. Anyways, this is a gun that I love to carry. It was one of my first pistols. I got it from a family member who could not hit anything with it. They had the worst luck with them. I took it off their hands, and I have had zero issues. Don't know if it's a hand shape, the way it works. Don't know. So let's go ahead and take a look. Comes with this super fancy case, which, like I said, right, it says not legal in California. No idea. Okay. So there's a few extra pieces in here. But the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we are unloaded and clear. Drop our mag. Yep. Okay, lock her open. Yep, we're clear. Okay. So it's a small little thing. I want to say 6.3 inches, something like that overall. Unloaded 1.5 pounds. Good heavy construction. We've got a steel slide and inners, and we've got plastic receiver here, if you want to call it that. I don't know. Nice little gun, as you can see, fits my hand quite well. I'm just going to put an empty mag in here for sake. Okay, she fits my hand quite well. It points very well, which is very important in a defensive firearm. You want something that's basically in line with your hand. Makes it much easier to come in and intuitively shoot. Sights are decent. White dot, you know, 2 white dots here and a red fiber optic up front. Pretty bare bones. Not really adjustable. I mean, you can float them. I've never had to. Really just a nice design. We've got cutouts here for thumb on either side for ambidextrous use. The magazine release works from either side, which is kind of nice. The slide lock is only on the left side of the gun. So it's not truly ambidextrous, but it's nice. You know, just something to note, she does tip quite a bit when she's going through. But that is your slide lock. Works quite well. I've had no issues with it. There is one really cool thing here. I'm going to have to load the firearm really quickly just to show it to you. Okay, so we're going to take our magazine. We're going to put one round in. Okay, put it in the firearm. We're going to cycle it. Okay, now you'll see that a small steel lever here on the top popped up. That is called a round indicator. That tells you there is a round in that chamber. Now the other thing you can do is, if the light is good, you can look right in here in between the slide and the barrel chamber, and you can see brass. And that'll tell you, yep, there's a round in the chamber. But that chamber indicator is fan-frickin-tastic. I love that. Because in the dark or whatever, you can just wipe your hand over the top and go, yep, I have a round in the chamber. It's a really great feature. You know, once again, you can also, in the dark, wipe your hand across the top and go, nope, there's no round in that chamber. Very nice feature. Really like that. She is a little, like I said, a little bit heavy on because of all the steel up top, but I don't mind that. We have 2 safeties, if you want to call them that. We have, once again, empty magazine. Gun's empty. We're going to put the magazine in just for handling's sake. You have 2 safeties on this. You have a little dongle here on the trigger, and you have a grip safety. The grip safety functions just like on a 1911. If you're familiar with 1911s, or if you shot a lot of those, this is going to be very nice for you. You cannot actuate without both. So this has to be depressed, and this dongle has to be depressed. You can see, once again, I'm holding down the safety here and pushing the trigger. Nothing happens. You have to have the dongle down, this down, and then pull the trigger. It's a nice design for a defensive firearm because you don't have to worry about hitting a safety or turning anything off. She's just ready to go. I like that. It's one of the reasons why I carry it, because it comes out and it just goes to work. It does have a small rail here on the front. When I got this one, it did have a laser on it. I despise lasers, so I took it right off. There is some slight stippling here on the trigger guard. If you want to use one of those fancy modern grips, you can. I don't find it that comfortable to shoot with my hands wrapped up that high. But once again, it is actually fairly comfortable because your finger's wrapped here. Your thumb comes to rest on top of the release for when you're tearing it down, and your other thumb comes here. It's not the worst grip. I just don't prefer it. Really nice. Actually, quite customizable as well. One of the things is this comes with, I believe, one 9-round magazine, one 7-round magazine. I've got a bunch of magazines for it. I prefer the 8-round magazines. The magazines on these are great. They're stainless steel. They're single stack. There's very little to go wrong. They do have these right around here, these little rings that fit around the magazine that you can change out. And the reason you would change those out is right here behind your beaver tail safety. There is a small plate that is removable, and you can put in different sizes. And the reason for that is to change palm swell. Like this one is much larger swell than this one. I prefer this slimmer one. Or if you have bigger hands and you want to push your hand out more, or if you have smaller hands and want to bring it in more, whatever. So what happens is this is supposed to, in the magazine, it locks in here, and you can see this is for when you're using the larger palm swell. You've got that gap there. Whereas when you're running the standard size, it fits right in nice and smooth, which is what you want, so nothing's getting caught on anything. You can also run, if you have smaller hands or if you're really trying to hide it, you can run the 7-round magazines with a flush 4-plate. I find this to be too small. You know, once again, I'm not the biggest on subcompacts, but that to me, my pinky's sliding right off it, I'm going to lose some control. I'm going to have to use a different kind of grip, which I don't prefer. I find that the 8-round grips, or the 8-round mags, are perfect. They don't print much. And as you can see, this kind of hangs off there. That's not bad if you really want to get a handle, but I don't see a reason to. Because, you know, yeah, you've got 9+1, cool, versus 8+1. Yeah, 1 round could make the difference, but for most applications, I find this to be very nice. The gun is just under an inch wide. I want to say 0.9 inches. It really is fairly small, and even though it's small, I don't have a lot of issues with recoil, no matter what I've fed it. I haven't had any jamming issues yet. It's a solid piece. Like I said, there are reasons this is the one that I carry the most. It's rugged. It's not the most expensive. At one point, they were like $400. Obviously, they're not going to be that now. And like I said, this is the original. There's the 2.0, which has, you know, the stippling that looks like skateboard tape and all that crap on it. It's a little more rounder. It's supposed to be a little nicer. To me, it looks more like an M&P. I've shot these in 45 as well. They're pretty stout. I had no issues with that. Enjoyed it. And I, for the life of me, wish I knew why my family member had so much issues hitting with this, because she's great. Maybe people have had different results. If you have any ideas, please leave in the comments. I'm very fascinated by it. Once again, from NATO ammunition to you know, hollow points and blazers, it's all been consistent. The only thing that I would say might be nice would be to have more adjustable sights, but once again, in a carry gun that's going to get the crap kicked out of it, I need sights that aren't going to move, so this is good for me. One of the interesting things about the construction, a whole lot of roll pins. Not a bad thing, just a whole lot of roll pins. In my opinion, the trigger is superior to the Glock. I know there's a lot of, well, XD versus Glock. I don't really subscribe to that argument because I think it's a fallacy. They're both fantastic. And they're both awful all at the same time. But Glocks are gross, so whatever. The cuts here on the back of the slide are good and heavy. I've never had any issues with wet hands or having any issues pulling it. I've never had any issues with fail to extract. Really good piece. Your serial number is down here as well. There's a small steel plate under here. And I'd like to go ahead and show you the insides of it now. So disassembly is pretty easy. Let's drop our mag, make sure we're clear. Well, let's stick our finger there anyways. Okay. So in order to disassemble it, you're going to bring her all the way back and lock her open. You're going to take this switch and you're going to push it up. Okay? You're going to release, slide it forward, pull the trigger, and slide it right off. All that you've got left down here now is, your hammer, your trigger, your control group, and your slides that it runs on. You can set that aside. Very easy to clean. Very wide open. You can see it's really easy to get in there and get everything done. There's not a whole lot of really... Boy, I do need to clean that, don't I? Been carrying it a little bit. Disassembling the slide, very easy. We've got a large plunger here on our return spring. Just pull a little bit of pressure, it pulls right off. The barrel, just rock it right out. As you can see, you can see she's locked, so we just push it forward and then roll it right out. Nice barrel. Once again, I've had no issues with it. She's got a nice stainless steel ramp here that always cleans up really well. I like on modern barrels that the ramp is attached to the barrel. I think that's a fantastic feature that I've seen in some guns and not in others. Great idea. Like I said, no issues with the barrel. She cleans up really well. No accuracy issues. I'm happy with it. Cleaning in here, once again, fairly easy. You can see where everything is. There's your depression. Everything is pretty straightforward, easy to get at. Yeah, this one does need a cleaning. I've been carrying it quite a bit. But you can move everything around and really get a look at it. Very easy to disassemble, very easy to put back together. And once again, to reassemble it, we're just gonna take our barrel, right, rock it back in. You can't screw this up because it's round. It's not like on an M&P where it's shaped. Okay, it's round. You just put it in there. A little bit of tension. Make sure that disc is down into the cut in the barrel. Okay, slide it right in. Slide it all the way back. Lock it. Turn your little lever. Okay, work it. Make sure she works. Everything's back to go. I really like it. The trigger reset is a little long. As you can see, she creeps right up there, but it is a very nice trigger. There's definitely a wall you can feel. There's a lot of pressure, and then you feel when it breaks. I like it. In my opinion, a little bit better trigger than the Glock. If you're going to carry one or the other, if you're looking for large capacity magazines, go for the Glock. If not, I'm fully comfortable with this with 8 rounds and an extra magazine kicking around somewhere. So I've been carrying this for years. It's really nice. I like the fact that you can change out the grip swell. I like the fact that I can change out the magazines, that there's many different kinds. I like the fact that they're single stack, so nothing really can go wrong. Good little gun, and like I said, not that expensive. This, if you're working on a tractor and you roll over on your gun in the gravel and you scrape it up a little bit, it's an XD versus, when you do it to your $1,200 Kimber, you're going to be a little more upset. So like I said, it is an all-around pistol. I'm very happy with it. I wouldn't say I've put 1,000 rounds through it, but probably pretty close. And no problems. No failure to feed. The only issue I've ever had was I had someone shooting it and they kept accidentally riding the slide lock, and that was it. So if you're looking for a pretty straightforward standard, concealable, still pretty robust, I would definitely recommend them. It's one of the best ones I've seen out there. I haven't handled the Hellcats yet. Springfield makes a good pistol. But I would say it's quite comparable to the M&P in my opinion. It's just a little thinner and doesn't have quite the capacity. And once again, I'm looking for concealed carry, so I don't really care about having 15 rounds in the magazine. It's not a thing. Also, in my state, 10 is the limit anyways. So, if you've had any different experiences, if you know anything about them, if you've seen any really wild stuff done with them, leave in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. And thank you for listening.